Hi, I'm Sharon Jimenez. Welcome to LA Business Today. Thanks for joining us on LA's only TV talk show about business. Some of the fastest growing businesses in Southern California are businesses we couldn't have imagined a decade ago. Runaround Betty's gives the average person an employee they couldn't afford in a different economy, while VG Market provides research for the ever-exploding video game market. How did two entrepreneurs start such successful businesses? You'll find out as we get down to business. Michael Gluck is the founder and president of VG Market. His specialty is video game research. He started his company with $5 grand of his own savings when he was 24 and grew his company to $20 million in sales in just 6 years. Michael's from the other Hollywood, Florida. Welcome to our Hollywood, California, Michael.
Thank you
to
so
LA
much for
Business
having me, Sharon.
Today.
Appreciate it.
What an incredible story. So you did work in video game production and saved your pennies?
Yeah, I was got out of college, moved out to California.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to University of Pennsylvania,
Okay.
Philadelphia. Studied marketing and Japanese because I knew I wanted to be in games, so studying some Japanese.
That's kind of an
there.
Ivy League school too.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Yep.
University of Pennsylvania.
Tough to get in there, yeah. And it was great education in business and languages. And after that, just moved out to California, got a job in video games, worked there for a couple years, and then just saw an opportunity to strike off on my own and start up the company.
Well, it takes a lot of nerve to start your own company. What made you think you had what it took to take your $5,000 and put it on the big board and spin the dice
spin
and
that wheel,
do that?
Sharon.
How did you have that confidence?
Well, there were a couple driving factors. One, I was unhappy working in a cubicle. It wasn't suitable for my personality. So there was a lot of internal pressure for me to get out of the work environment. And it wasn't the type of place where I was happy. Secondly, I saw an opportunity where, now what I do is market research. So companies come to us with questions about the video games that they're making.
Because video games are always changing, and what the consumer wants in a video game probably changes with each generation.
Totally, and as new platforms are coming out, for example, now it's a lot of mobile gaming. When I started, it used to be all console, like Xbox and PlayStation and PC gaming. So the market has changed, and these companies are coming to us to understand what consumers think about the games they're making. So to put it in plain terms, it's the next big game's coming out. It's for PC, for Xbox, for PlayStation, and they want to know, what is it fun or not before it comes out, because they're going to spend millions and millions to make it, and they better know if it's fun before that game ships.
So how do you do the research marketing? Do you go directly to the consumers?
Exactly. So we've built a database over the years of hundreds of thousands of names of consumers that play video games and own these consoles and spend money. And these people we recruit to come in and get their hands on the unfinished software. And as they're doing the test, we're observing how they play. They're completing a survey. They're doing a focus group discussion. And they're telling us everything that they like and dislike about the product. And we create a report and deliver it back to the publishers.
And you saw a void that was a niche for you.
Absolutely. And that's going back to your original question. So what was the nerve to get out and do it? The nerve was that the suppliers who were providing those services to us, they had some nerve, charging ridiculous amount of money, taking a really long time to deliver the results, and quite frankly, not providing a service that was customized and tailored and specialized for our industry. We were being treated sort of more in like a one of many products that they were handling.
And video games, do men play video games more than women?
Not anymore. It depends completely on the game and the category. So for example, if you're talking about first-person shooter games on a Xbox, that's definitely more men playing than women. But if you're talking about mobile phone games, many of those games are geared actually more towards females, and there's more females playing.
Well, you're talking to someone who's the only thing I've ever played is Pac-Girl. I think that's like that's as high up as I've been. And
you're a gamer.
I'm a gamer.
You're classified.
But I have to say that when I, of course, raising a family of young people who all grew up playing video games, trying to decide as a parent what video games, and now I'm a grandparent, so what video games actually help them learn? I mean, you went to an Ivy League school. My grandchildren want to go to Ivy League schools. My children got into really good schools. What games can they play that are smart games? Because for parents, you know, I mean, I'm going to pick your brain here because you're a researcher.
Go for it.
And for parents, what should they be looking for in grandparents that's is going to help their children learn, help young people learn?
There's a lot of research around the idea that just interfacing with a video game of any kind is developing cognitive processes, reflexes, intelligence. So personally, I would advocate any type of game that's fun. If the kid is having fun playing the game, and is engaged in it and developing reflexes and increasing cognition and reading text and following instructions and learning vocabulary. I developed vocabulary from games.
You did?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a lot. At least when I was growing up playing, it was all text based, so I was reading a lot and learning words and such. I would have no concern at all, really, about the content of the game once the child is, you know, in elementary school.
But how to get them from the games to reading serious books? And I'm sure you had to read pretty serious books to get into PEN.
Sure.
So how do you keep them reading good books?
Yeah, it's
classics and things that take.
Yeah, I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's both.
Okay.
You know, so they're playing games and they're having fun and enjoying it, and then they're also reading books. I don't think it's like a graduation so much, where like they're playing games and then they graduate onto the books. The average age of a gamer is 32 years old in this country. You know, that's the average age of someone who plays video games.
Really?
So it's much older than most people think. And so, you know, you play games all your life, you read all your life, and it doesn't have to be one or the other.
As an entrepreneur, what kind of advice would you give to people that maybe they're sitting in a cubicle now and they want to be Michael Gluck and they want to kind of do what you've done to start out? What do they do? What is that for? What are those steps like?
Yeah, so the first step, and this is a foundational step, is just the golden rule, okay? Like what we learned in kindergarten, right? Just treat everyone right and you'll be treated right and you'll have those relationships. So no business that I've ever seen can exist without the fundamental relationships with the people that can then give you the opportunity to provide your service. So number one, don't burn any bridges. Be a good human being. If you made a mistake, if you burned somebody, repair the bridge, just fix it. Just don't have any bad blood out there. That's the first step before anything. And now to go into more practical, you know, steps that you can take beyond sort of that general rule is you know, the way I was successful was by working first for a company, developing the relationships within the company, and then leaving, and those relationships that I had made became my first customers and my advocates. So had I tried to create this from the outside and gone as an outsider to sell these services, I think I would have hit a wall. But I was successful because I had first worked inside the organization.
So know what you're doing.
Yeah, know what you're doing and know the people. The people is what it's all about.
And know what it is to work in that. And when you say don't burn bridges and get along with people, as we know in every work environment, that's always the great challenge. How do you do that? Because that is a specialty. I mean, whether you're staying in the cubicle or you're going out of the cubicle, how is that?
Just value the relationship above all else, right? So always long-term thinking, never like short-term transactional type thinking, like what can I get today? But just about like the only question you really should be asking when you're in business is customer happy, yes, no, right? So that's it.
Right.
Customer happy, yes, you win.
And
right?
then also the provider happy?
Yeah.
And all the people that you're working with.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, happy people, successful business long term. Maybe a couple grand here and there is lost in the process of happy people, but happy people is where it's at, definitely.
So what do you see as your future, Michael Gluck?
Well, the business is growing. We've saturated most of the video game companies at this point that do market research. Most of them have done research with us at some point. So we started to expand outside of video games as a category, gone into other areas of entertainment, media, and technology, mobile phones, non-gaming apps. So other categories where our experience can be transferred over and we can provide the service.
And then how do you gauge your time? How do you allocate your personal time with your work time? That's a big question now.
I don't have a delineation of hours for certain. I just think of that as like one 24-hour day, and sleep, personal work, eating, playing video games, whatever it is, it's just whenever, whatever. If work calls, just stop, jump in. I don't have like clear delineation of hours, just continuous fluid, whatever I want to do.
And not everybody can do that well. So is that, you think that's also a personality trait? Or
Maybe.
can you develop it?
But give it a shot, you know?
Okay.
I mean, if you start breaking down the whole concepts of like certain times you're supposed to be doing things and just think of it as one big 24-hour chunk of time, yeah, you could be a lot more productive and more efficient, I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Gluck, an incredible success story, and welcome to it. Thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
on
having
LA
me.
Business
I
Today.
appreciate it.
And you're watching LA Business Today.